forces of infinite intelligence for the power to transmute your desires into their physical equivalent. And it does it in the most straightforward and practical way. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose that you wish transformed into concrete form. Refer again to the instructions for using the subconscious mind in Chapter 5, Autosuggestion. Editor's comments. In the chapter on autosuggestion, the 4 primary methods for planting and reinforcing suggestions in your subconscious are: 1. The formulation and writing out of your desire. 2. The repetition of positive affirmations. 3. The creative visualization of your goal. And 4. By acting as though the goal is already yours. This is the end of the editor's comment. From my research, I have concluded that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence. It is the intermediary through which you may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence. From my research, I have concluded that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence. It is the intermediary through which you may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence. Only the subconscious mind contains the process by which mental impulses, thoughts, are modified and changed into their spiritual, energy, equivalent. It alone is the medium through which prayer, desire, may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer, infinite intelligence. How to energize your subconscious mind for creative effort. The possibilities of what you can do when you connect creative effort with the subconscious mind are stupendous. They inspire me with awe. I never approached the discussion of the subconscious mind without a feeling of littleness and inferiority, due to the fact that man's entire stock of knowledge on this subject is so pitifully limited. First, you must accept as a reality the existence of the subconscious mind and what it can do for you. This will enable you to understand its possibilities as a medium for transmuting your desires into their physical or monetary equivalent. And then, you will comprehend the full significance of the instructions given in Chapter 3, Desire. You will also understand the importance of making your desires clear and putting them in writing. You will understand as well the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. The 13 principles that are the basis of this book are the stimuli with which you acquire the ability to reach and to influence your subconscious mind. Do not become discouraged if you cannot do this on your first attempt. Remember that the subconscious mind can be directed only through habit. You have not yet had time to master faith. Be patient. Be persistent. Editor's comments. There are 2 aspects to Hill's theory of the subconscious mind. There are 2 aspects to Hill's theory of the subconscious mind. One is the concept of the subconscious as the storehouse of all information and thoughts that you have ever experienced. The second is the concept of the subconscious as the gateway to infinite intelligence. In this chapter, Hill focuses primarily on the subconscious as a storehouse. Expanding on the editorial comment about the subconscious mind that appears in the chapter on autosuggestion, proof that the subconscious is a storehouse of information is confirmed in the use of hypnotherapy by psychiatrists. Through hypnosis, psychiatrists are able to help patients open the door to their subconscious so that they can retrieve information about traumatic situations that have been filtered out or repressed by the conscious mind. Further proof is in the use of hypnosis by law enforcement officials to recapture information such as license plate numbers and other details that the conscious mind of a witness has filtered out. Although results vary from person to person, there is no doubt that the subconscious has access to information that the conscious mind does not. This storehouse aspect of the subconscious is what accounts for some ideas that come to us through creative imagination. In some instances, bits of information and ideas that our conscious mind has forgotten will connect with each other on a subconscious level to create a new idea. and that idea will be received by our creative intelligence, which presents it to us as a flash of inspiration. You can't completely control this process, but you can condition yourself to come up with more and better ideas. It is a fact that a traumatic experience, the result of which creates a strongly planted idea, can influence the way a person thinks and acts. If that is true, then by intentionally using all of your efforts to powerfully plant an idea in your subconscious, you should be able to create what would amount to a good traumatic experience that will influence the way you think and act in a positive way. This is exactly how you develop what Hill calls a money consciousness. If you do everything within your power to strongly, firmly, and with complete faith and conviction plant the idea that you will be successful and achieve your desire, your subconscious will accept and store that idea. If you have planted the idea so strongly that it is the dominant idea in your subconscious, it will influence all of the other ideas and information stored there. When you have given your subconscious this specific direction that it did not have before, it will begin to put together pieces of information. And through your creative intelligence, you will find that you are coming up with more and better plans and ideas to accomplish your goal. But as Hill says, you can do this only through faith and habit. You must write out the affirmation of your goal, and you must repeat it aloud every day with absolute faith and conviction that you can achieve it. You must vividly and creatively visualize yourself achieving your goal, and you must do it every day. You must conduct yourself with the attitude that says you can accomplish your goal, and that you deserve the help of those who can help you to accomplish your goal. And you must conduct yourself in that way every day. If you seriously commit yourself to doing these things, it will change the way you think and act. Your subconscious will do everything it can to transmute your desire into reality, and other people will want to do what they can to help you succeed. This is the end of the editor's comments. Many statements in the chapters on faith and on autosuggestion are repeated here for the benefit of your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind functions whether you make any effort to influence it or not. This means that thoughts of fear, poverty, and all negative ideas will affect your subconscious mind unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food on which it may feed. The subconscious mind will not remain idle. If you don't plant desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed on the thoughts that reach it as the result of your neglect. Both negative and positive thoughts are reaching your subconscious mind continuously. These thoughts come from the four sources. 1. Consciously from other people. 2. Your subconscious. 3. Subconsciously from other people. And 4. Infinite intelligence. Every day, all kinds of thought impulses are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. Some of these impulses are negative. Some are positive. Right now, you should be specifically trying to shut off the flow of negative impulses and actively working to influence your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. When you achieve this, you will possess the key that unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Moreover, you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind. Everything that you create begins in the form of a thought impulse. You can create nothing that you do not first conceive as a thought. Through the aid of the imagination, thoughts may be assembled into plans. The imagination, when under your control, may be used to create plans or purposes that lead to success in your chosen occupation. All thoughts that you want to turn into success and have planted in the subconscious mind must pass through the imagination and be mixed with faith, your faith in your own abilities. The mixing of faith with a plan or purpose intended for submission to the subconscious mind can only be done through the imagination. From these statements, it should be clear that if you want to make use of your subconscious mind, it will call for the coordination and application of all 13 principles of success that are the basis of this book. Make your positive emotions work for you. The subconscious mind is more susceptible to influence by thought mixed with feeling or emotion than it is by thoughts originating solely in the reasoning portion of the mind. In fact, there is much evidence to support the theory that only emotionalized thoughts have any real influence on the subconscious mind. It is a fact that emotions or feelings rule the majority of people. If it is true that the subconscious mind responds better and faster to thoughts that are well mixed with emotion, it is essential to become familiar with the more important of the emotions. There are 7 major positive emotions and 7 major negative emotions. The negatives get into your thoughts naturally and go directly to your subconscious without any help from you. The positive emotions must be injected by you through the principle of autosuggestion into the thought impulse that you wish to pass on to your subconscious mind. These emotions or feeling impulses may be likened to yeast in a loaf of bread. They are the action element which transforms thought impulses from the passive to the active state. That is why thought impulses that have been well mixed with emotion are acted upon more readily than thought impulses originating in cold reason. Editor's comments. W. Clement Stone, Napoleon Hill's friend, mentor, and business partner, arranged for the publication of many of Napoleon Hill's later writings. The following is adapted from material that appears in 2 of these books, Napoleon Hill's Keys to Success and Believe and Achieve. Enthusiasm is a positive mental attitude, an internal impelling force of intense emotion, a power compelling creation or expression. Being enthusiastic is an impelling external expression of action. When you act enthusiastically, you accentuate the power of suggestion and autosuggestion. The sales manager, public speaker, minister, lawyer, teacher, or executive who acts enthusiastic by speaking in an enthusiastic, sincere manner develops genuine enthusiasm. If you act enthusiastic, your emotions will follow. By filling your conscious mind with enthusiasm, you also impress upon your subconscious mind that your burning obsession and your plan for obtaining it are certain things. Then, if your conscious enthusiasm dims, your subconscious will be there, full of images of your success to help you stoke your conscious fires of enthusiasm once again. This is the end of the editor's comments. You are preparing yourself to influence and control the inner audience of your subconscious mind in order to hand over to it the desire for money, which you wish transmuted into its physical, monetary equivalent. It is essential, therefore, that you understand the method of approach to this inner audience. You must speak its language. It understands best the language of emotion or feeling. Following are the 7 major positive emotions and the 7 major negative emotions. I am listing them here so that you may draw upon the positives and avoid the negatives when giving instructions to your subconscious mind. The 7 major positive emotions. The emotion of desire, the emotion of faith, the emotion of love, the emotion of sex, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion of romance, the emotion of hope. There are other positive emotions, but these are the 7 most powerful and the ones most commonly used in creative effort. Master these 7 emotions. They can be mastered only by use, and the other positive emotions will be at your command when you need them. Remember that you are studying a book that is intended to help you develop a money consciousness by filling your mind with positive emotions. The 7 major negative emotions to be avoided. The emotion of fear, the emotion of jealousy, the emotion of hatred, the emotion of revenge, the emotion of greed, the emotion of superstition, the emotion of anger. Positive and negative emotions cannot occupy the mind at the same time. One or the other must dominate. It is your responsibility to make sure that positive emotions constitute the dominating influence of your mind. That is where the law of habit will help you. Form the habit of applying and using the positive emotions. Eventually, they will dominate your mind so completely that the negatives cannot enter it. Only by following these instructions literally and continuously can you gain control over your subconscious mind. The presence of a single negative in your conscious mind is sufficient to destroy all chances of constructive aid from your subconscious mind. Editor's comments. Napoleon Hill's concern about the susceptibility of the subconscious mind to negative thoughts, emotions, and comments is well known to professionals who work with these techniques. In clinical hypnotherapy, there is an axiom referred to as the law of reversed effect, which states that whenever there is a conflict between imagination and willpower, the imagination wins. When you attempt to plant an idea, if the subconscious already harbors a negative, trying to force the new idea has the reverse effect, because the subconscious becomes obsessed with defending its established negative idea. And the harder you try to do something, the more the subconscious resists, and the more difficult it becomes. Even the use of the word try is warned against, because it gives the suggestion to the subconscious of a preconceived failure. The concept of trying implies an ongoing effort. You don't want to try, you want to succeed. If you ask your subconscious to help you try, it may do just that. It may help you try, but it will prevent you from succeeding. Because if you did succeed, then it could no longer help you try, which is what you asked it to do. The cautionary note about using the word try is just one example of the care that should be taken when formulating affirmations and using autosuggestion. The following are some other rules of thumb that most modern experts agree on. 1. Affirmations should always be stated as a positive. Affirm what you do want, not what you don't want. 2. Affirmations work best when they are short and very clear about a single desired goal. Take the time to write, rewrite, and polish your affirmation until you can express your desire in a short statement of precise and well-chosen words. 3. Affirmations should be specific about the desired goal, but not about how to accomplish it. Your subconscious knows better than you what it can do and how it can do it. 4. Do not make unreasonable time demands. Your subconscious can't make anything happen suddenly or now. 5. Just saying the words will have little effect. When you affirm your desire, you must do it with such faith and conviction that your subconscious becomes convinced of how important it is to you. As you affirm your desire to yourself, visualize it in your mind's eye as big as a billboard. Make it big, powerful, and memorable. 6. Repetition of your emotionalized affirmation is crucial. At this time, it is your habit to think one way. By repeating your affirmation often every day, your new way of thinking will begin to be your automatic response. Keep reinforcing it until it becomes second nature to you, and your habit will have become to think the new way, the way you want to think. This is the end of the editor's comments. We form habits based on the degree of reinforcement we receive. Habits make no moral judgments. They can be either good or bad. Both are formed through repetition. If we try something and like the results, we repeat the action. You can replace negative thoughts with positive ones. You can replace inaction with action, and you can form any habit you choose. Your thoughts are the only thing that you can completely control if you choose to do so. You can control your thoughts to control your habits. The secret of effective prayer. Most people resort to prayer only after everything else has failed, or else they pray by a ritual of meaningless words. And because most people who pray do so only after everything else has failed, they go to prayer with their minds filled with fear and doubt. Because fear and doubt are the emotions that are mixed with their prayer, these are the emotions the subconscious mind passes on, and these are the emotions that infinite intelligence receives and acts upon. If you pray for a thing, but as you pray you have fear that you may not receive it, or that your prayer will not be acted upon by infinite intelligence, your prayer will have been in vain. Prayer does sometimes result in the realization of that for which one prays. If you have ever had the experience of receiving something for which you prayed, go back in your memory and recall your actual state of mind while you were praying, and you will know for sure that the theory here described is more than a theory. The method by which you may communicate with infinite intelligence is very similar to the way the vibration of sound is transmitted by radio waves. Sound cannot be transmitted through the atmosphere until it has been changed into a very high rate of vibration. The radio station takes the sound of the human voice and modifies it by stepping up the vibration millions of times. Only in this way can the energy of sound be sent over distances. After this transformation has taken place, the energy, which originally was in the form of vibrations of sound, is broadcast or transmitted as a radio signal. When a radio set receives the high-speed transmission, it then reconverts that energy back to its original slower rate of vibration. And when it is stepped down to its original rate, it vibrates the diaphragm of the speaker, which reproduces the original sound of the voice. The subconscious mind is the intermediary that translates prayers or desires into terms that infinite intelligence can receive. The answer comes back to you in the form of a definite plan or idea for procuring the object of your prayer. When you understand this principle, you know why mere words read from a prayer book cannot serve as an agency of communication between the mind of man and infinite intelligence. Do not expect troubles, as they have a tendency not to disappoint. Chapter 14. The Brain, a broadcasting and receiving station for thought. The 12th step toward riches. It was while I was working with the late Dr. Alexander Graham Bell and Dr. Elmer R. Gates that I first proposed the idea that every human brain is both a broadcasting and receiving station for the vibration of thought. In some way similar to the principle behind the operation of a radio receiver, every human brain is capable of picking up vibrations of thought that are being released by other brains. These are received as hunches and flashes of intuition. As was explained in previous chapters, it is your creative imagination that is the receiving set of your brain, which receives thoughts from your subconscious and under certain circumstances receives thoughts released by the brains of others. Your creative imagination is the interconnection between your conscious or reasoning mind and the four sources from which you receive thought stimuli. 1. Consciously from other people. 2. Your subconscious. 3. Subconsciously from other people. And 4. Infinite intelligence. When stimulated or stepped up to a high rate of vibration, the mind becomes more receptive to thoughts that reach it from outside sources. This stepping up process takes place through either the positive emotions or the negative emotions. Through the emotions, the vibrations of thought may be increased. The brain that has been stimulated by emotions functions at a much more rapid rate than it does when that emotion is quieted or absent. The result is the increase of thought to such a pitch that the creative imagination becomes highly receptive to ideas. On the other hand, when the brain is functioning at a rapid rate, it also gives to your own thoughts the emotional feeling that is essential before those thoughts will be picked up and acted upon by your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the sending station of the brain, through which vibrations of thought are broadcast. Autosuggestion is the medium by which you may put into operation your sending station. The creative imagination is the receiving set through which the energies of thought are picked up. Editor's comments. The following combines the above concept with the related materials from previous chapters to provide a step-by-step recap of Napoleon Hill's view of the process. 1. The brain is simultaneously both a broadcaster and a receiver. 2. Emotion affects both your ability to send and your ability to receive. When under the effect of strong emotion, the more powerfully you can send thoughts. When under the effect of strong emotion, the more receptive you are to receiving thoughts. 3. When you send thoughts, to where do you send them? You send them to your subconscious by using autosuggestion. 4. When you receive thoughts, where do they come from? They come from your subconscious and you receive them through your creative imagination. 5. Your subconscious mind has two aspects. Your subconscious is a storehouse of information, as explained in the previous chapter. Your subconscious is your connection to infinite intelligence. 6. Infinite intelligence is the medium through which you receive thoughts from other brains. Infinite intelligence is Hill's term for describing the following basic law of physics. Because everything in the universe is made of time, space, energy, or matter, and because matter is just energy in a different form, then everything is actually different parts of the same thing. This means that your subconscious mind, energy, has a common base with every other subconscious mind, energy. 7. Thoughts from other brains come to you as follows. When you are under the effect of a strong emotion and your receiver is especially receptive, sometimes its pull is so strong that it attracts a thought from the subconscious mind of another brain. It is able to do this because infinite intelligence interconnects your subconscious with the subconscious of the other brain. 8. These thoughts from other brains are what we refer to as intuition, hunches, déjà vu, and foreknowledge. Although Hill's explanation depends on the action of an intangible force that cannot be isolated and dissected in a laboratory, neither medical science nor psychology can offer a better explanation for those thoughts that depend on knowledge or information that we do not have. This is the end of the editor's comments. The greatest forces are intangible. In the past, we've depended too much on our physical senses and have limited our knowledge to physical things that we could see, touch, weigh, and measure. I believe we have entered the most marvelous of all ages, an age that will teach us more about the intangible forces of the world about us. Perhaps we shall learn that there is an other self that is more powerful than the physical self we see when we look in a mirror. Many people do not take seriously such intangibles, the things that they cannot perceive through any of their five senses. However, to belittle the idea of forces that are intangible or cannot be explained is to ignore the fact that all of us, every day, are controlled by forces that are unseen and intangible. The whole of mankind has not the power to cope with, nor to control the intangible force wrapped up in the rolling waves of the oceans. We still do not fully understand the intangible force of gravity, which keeps this little Earth suspended in space and keeps us from falling from it, much less have the power to control that force. We are entirely subservient to the intangible force that comes with a thunderstorm, and we are just as helpless in the presence of the intangible force of electricity. We do not understand the intangible force and intelligence wrapped up in the soil of the earth, the force that provides us with every morsel of food we eat, every article of clothing we wear, and every dollar we carry in our pockets. Last but not least, with all of our culture and education, we still understand little or nothing of the greatest of all the intangibles, thought. However, we have begun to learn a good deal about the intricate workings of the physical brain, and the results are stunning. We know that the central switchboard of the human brain, the number of lines that connect the brain cells to each other, is written as the figure 1, followed by 15 million zeros. Dr. C. Judson Herrick of the University of Chicago says, "The figure is so stupendous that astronomical figures dealing with hundreds of millions of light years, become insignificant by comparison. It has been determined that there are from 10 billion to 14 billion nerve cells in the human cerebral cortex, and we know that these are arranged in definite patterns. These arrangements are not haphazard. They are orderly. It is inconceivable to me that such a network of intricate machinery should be in existence for the sole purpose of carrying on the physical functions connected with the growth and maintenance of the physical body. Is it not likely that the same system, which gives billions of brain cells the media for communication, one with another, also provides the means of communication with other intangible forces? Editor's comments. In the time since Hill wrote the above comments, we have learned a great deal more about the physical brain and how it operates. We understand much about the chemistry of the brain. We can measure the energies it releases. We know which areas control the various functions of the body and which areas affect memory, emotions, reasoning, and many other subtleties related to the thinking process. Through surgery, medication, and other techniques, we know how to prevent the brain from having certain kinds of thoughts. And we know how to encourage the brain to produce certain other kinds of thoughts when we want it to. For instance, a specific area can be stimulated and you will have pleasurable thoughts. But we cannot yet control what those pleasurable thoughts will be, and we have no idea what the bits and pieces of information are that go into your pleasurable thoughts. With all of our advanced knowledge about the physical brain, we still don't know how to make it have a specific thought or idea, especially not an original thought or a creative idea. And medical science offers no better theory than Hill's as to how we could have an intuition or hunch made up from information that we don't have and were never exposed to. In short, the physical properties of the brain confirm that it is where the thinking process takes place. But it does not offer the answer to the question of how it happens, or how thoughts from one brain might travel to another. In previous commentaries, we pointed to the laws of physics as they relate to Hill's theory about the interconnectedness of all things. And although this is not meant to be a science lesson, it may reassure you to know that the work of renowned scientists lends support to the idea. Quantum theory deals with subatomic particles so minuscule that they are almost at the level of the basic stuff from which everything is made. Albert Einstein developed what is called the EPR effect. Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen, and Irish physicist John Stuart Bell proposed Bell's theorem, both of which pertain to the concept that when two linked subatomic particles are separated from each other, when a change is made to particle A, the same change will instantly happen in particle B, even though the two are distant from each other. Another related concept is called the holographic brain or holographic universe, and is named after an unusual quality of holograms. It is a fact that if you cut a hologram in half, you don't get two halves of a picture. You get two separate but complete pictures. Cut either one of those in half, and you get another two complete pictures. Cut other pieces, and again you get whole images. Every part of a hologram has the whole of the information in the original. In the 1970s, Carl Pribram, a neurophysiologist at Stanford University, announced the results of his studies which suggest that memory is not in a specific part of the brain, but is spread throughout the brain like the image on a holographic plate. At almost the same time, renowned physicist David Bohm proposed that the workings of the universe were like a holographic image, that among all things there is total interconnectivity, and that all things influence all other things. In effect, every part of the universe contains the whole of the universe. That is probably more than enough science for most readers. The point is, Hill was not alone in his conclusion that through some intangible force, your subconscious shares interconnectivity with everything else in the universe. Previously, the example was given of the folds and bumps in a tablecloth, all being different, but all still tablecloth. Here's another way to envision the intangible interconnection of all things. Suppose you were to drill 5 holes in a wall and have someone outside the room put their fingers and thumb through the holes and wiggle them. If you then bring into your room someone who only believes in tangible things that he or she can see, that person will see 5 separate objects that can move independently of each other. You may tell the person that behind the wall the objects are connected and all part of the same hand, but because they cannot see the connection and disbelieve anything they don't understand, the person will not be convinced. Neither modern medicine nor psychiatry